You're listening to the Augmented Experience podcast. My name is Joshua Bellis. I'm a student, musician, and a gamer at heart. Join me as I sit down with fellow enthusiasts to talk about what's going on in the technology, business, and gaming world. I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, everybody, welcome back to the show. My name is Joshua Bellis. I am your host as usual. And I think you guys can probably guess, about my tone of my voice. It's not just because I'm tired, but I think in terms of this is going to be a more serious episode. We're going to be definitely talking about a serious topic. Very serious, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm not going to put the Patreon ad in the episode at all. I'm not going to put ads to begin with at all. I just feel like after the news we got this morning, it's definitely going to be a serious topic today. And, I'm going to go into my beliefs a little bit because, like I said, this is a real talk. This is not a scripted episode at all. This is just me talking from my heart is essentially what I'm doing. That this is going to be just me talking, really. And it's very heartbreaking, especially with what happened, which I'll just go into it. The real talk's going to be over suicide. This morning I posted on the Instagram, obviously you guys can see it, that a YouTuber named Etika, that a lot of people knew, very big Cutie reaction channel, very big Nintendo lover, like everybody loves him. They loved his commentary. Anybody that knew him really liked his style of doing things. And recently he went missing. He posted a video on YouTube in the sense saying goodbye. It was essentially a suicide note in the form of a video. He was walking, talking about how he felt that he failed as a person, that he's sorry that he hurt everybody. And, we just found out this morning that they found his body in the river. They actually said yesterday that they found a body, but there was no confirmation on who it was. And this morning we got the confirmation that, it was Etika. And I think it's very heartbreaking due to the fact that he had to go out that way. I think, my personal opinion, that using suicide as a way to get out of your problems is never a good thing. Like, it has so many repercussions that you just can't even begin to fathom. And my hope is that, you guys would take this as a way to really reflect or even just share it, really. I'd say in the sense of suicide prevention, really. Especially because, as heartbreaking as this situation can be used for good, in my opinion. Like, as much as the situation already is a very bad situation, it's horrible, I do believe it can still be used for good, really. In the sense that we use it as suicide prevention, really, is that, that we help others who are going through those kind of situations, really. Because if I'm being really honest with you guys, growing up, I did have some suicidal thoughts when I was younger, to be honest. This was during the time that I was going through a very depression-heavy phase. This is during the time this is when my auntie Liana passed away. That when she passed away, I was in a horrible state, really, state of mind, state of being. I was not healthy. And I would always tell myself, why do people like my aunt have to go and then people like me get to stay around? And I kept staying with that mindset for 3 years. Like, I went through a depression for 3 years. And it sucked. I obviously was pretty good at hiding it. Like, even my band director never knew that I was going through it. And he's like, you're pretty good at hiding it. And to me, I can relate, especially because a lot of people that I know, like, whether some people want to agree with me or not, that, depression does play a good factor into suicidal thoughts, really. Because depending on how you view yourself in life and where you're at, that depression is not going to help you, really. And that's kind of mainly what I want to do with the Real Talks is, we're just going to be real. We're going to talk about real things that affect people's lives. And I'm not going to wrap in the whole topic about depression into this episode, but I will admit that it does play a factor into it. It does not help it at all. All it does is worsen the situation. I mean, in my opinion, that seems like what pretty much happened with Etika. And I think it doesn't make it any better with the whole situation either, is that this whole mentality of he's a grown man, he should be able to fix his own problems. To me, that's the biggest lie you can ever tell somebody. Like, whether you're grown, whether you're young, it does not matter. You will always need help in some way. Some people are like, I'm a strong, independent person. Yes, you can do things on your own, but that does not mean you can do everything on your own. That I'd say that's kind of a cultural thing that we've created, is that we've kind of created this mindset that you can do everything on your own, that you can fix it and you can figure it all out. And the reality is that's just not true. That's BS. Whether some people want to agree with me or not, hey, that's your opinion. But it's a cultural thing. It's something we've bred into culture. It's what we teach kids growing up, is that, you can make yourself successful. You can do everything on your own. But the reality is you see how it's not really that in the real world. When you look at, I'd say, an example like engineering, you're not doing everything on your own. You're working in a team. You're working with people. Like, you're collaborating to do something. And, that's I'd say it's also a little bit of a problem with, like, as cultures, like, being honest, that's usually how the Hispanic culture operates, especially older Hispanic males. Like, they always believe that they are they got to do everything on their own. That they don't need anybody's help, that they're always able to do it. And based on what a couple conversations I had with my friends who are African American, they told me it's the exact same thing. And I think it's pretty sad, because you see a lot of that response happen with the whole Etika thing. Was a lot of the people that knew him close, they were like, he's a grown man, he knows how to fix his own problems. And I'm like, but at the same time, while I do hold them responsible for allowing all this to happen, I think it also falls a little blame on Etika, because he had all the support there. He had a lot of support resources. He just didn't reach out. And I think that's kind of the reality is that, some people aren't that lucky to have that. Like, some people, when they're having these suicidal thoughts and they're having like this very, very dark phase in their life, and they don't have somebody there, it's not going to go well. And I just kind of reflect on it, especially while I was looking at this whole situation. I was reflecting in my head, just how grateful I am that, that wasn't me, essentially. That I can at least know that at least in this situation, and like I said, I will be mentioning my beliefs and everything like that, that I found hope. That I think that's something that, helped me a lot. which was I ended up finding hope in the situation that, yes, I make a lot of mistakes. Yes, I get it. Like, you aren't the best of people, but you can still be used for something good. You can still be redeemed. You can still be forgiven for everything. And I think it was interesting because it wasn't until I was 16. So technically I went through 11, 14, or 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, almost 5 years of not having anyone to talk to about my depression and, my suicidal thoughts. I didn't have anyone to talk to for that long. And obviously, yeah, I know there's people that have been through it for a much longer time, and we're not trying to downplay those people because I'm specifically talking to them. But it wasn't until I was 16 is when somebody decided that, hey, I want to help you out. And it was honestly my teacher, Mr. Garrison. He helped me out. Like, he knew I talked to him. I was just like, okay, I heard he say that he was a believer. I'm not in a healthy position in life and I just want to talk to somebody right now. So I asked him, hey, can we talk after class? And he said, yeah. And I opened up to him and we talked and he's like, let me show you something. And he pointed me to a lot of resources from the church that he goes to, Watermark. And I took those home and I watched a lot of videos regarding a lot of the topics, like the video series over the topics that he showed me, took notes, and reported back to him. And to me, it was crazy because that was the start of a trend that led to where I am right now. Even though, yes, I'm not a perfect human being. I still have some major issues I'm still dealing with, but in the sense that I'm not dealing with like that sort of depression and thoughts in my head anymore has been very liberating. And it's because I got help. Obviously, help is different for everybody. Not like, I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to stand here and tell you, yeah, Josh, we get it. Like, you're basically saying that all of our problems can be washed away by beliefs or religion. And I'm like, not really. I'd say that, well, I do believe that the free gift of Christ, the grace and mercy that Christ gives and forgiveness of your sins, I believe that, everybody should hear that. But the problem is that, well, not really a problem, but the thing is, you're not forced to believe. It's always a choice. You are given the choice. You can believe if you want to or not. So the choice is yours, essentially. Because it's a gift. You don't have to work your way towards it. It's a gift. And I think, but that's what I said, is that if you don't want to accept that gift, hey, that's fine. You're still going to be loved in everything. And that's one thing I want to use this episode for, is to promote suicide prevention. And the link description below, I'm going to be posting the number for the suicide hotline and, helpful resources to really spread the word. That's why I said that this entire situation with Etika has been very, very depressing, in my opinion. It's very heartbreaking. It's saddening because a very funny and lovable guy ended his life because he didn't feel like he had value. And he feel like he messed up so bad to the point that, he was better off offing himself. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, that's never the way. I've met a lot of people in my life that I've talked to that have talked to me really, and they were honest with me about their suicidal thoughts and depression. And, I always try to remind them that there's always hope at the end of the tunnel, no matter what. That whether you always think about it or not, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. There's always a way out. You are always presented a way out of every situation. Whether you want to do it alone, I personally don't recommend it, or you want to do it with a group of people that are willing to walk life with you and are willing to help and encourage you and guide you essentially into a healthy direction. And the reality is I think it's kind of something that our culture is really bad at. It doesn't really help that much with dealing with suicide thought or suicidal tendencies. We kind of do, I'd say in opposite, we kind of promote it. And it always comes down to the whole thing of doing everything on your own. And I think, personally, that's a horrible thing. I think that's a horrible idea. If it's something like really, really basic, like making yourself food, yes, you can do that on your own. But building a house, recommended you have a group of people because it makes it easier. It takes a lot of the load off you, and that even when it comes to serious issues, if you think about it, it makes more sense to have a group because you have more, I'd say, more thinking space. You have more ideas coming through, and you have more discussion, and you have more thoughtful connection with people. And you have people that are willing to be accountable, like hold you accountable and you hold them accountable and are willing to help you. Like if you text them at like 2 a.m, they'll answer and they'll talk and they'll spend hours talking with you. Like that's what I'm talking about. And I just think our society does a piss poor job at it, being honest. And like I said, this whole situation with Etika had the support system there, but then a lot of the people that he called friends, didn't call back. And I think that's horrible. And, I want to share this thing with y'all. I say it's a little form of encouragement, in my opinion. Whether you want to listen to it or not, personally, that's up to you. I'm not forcing you either way. Like, you can really just skip over this part of the episode if you want to. Really, this is it was something I always, when my brother passed away, this was two things that were going through my mind, really. There was two verses in my head. There was a little stone that I found, but I really want to focus on the one in Psalms 139 due to the fact that that's what gave me the most encouragement, and it reminds me every day that, so I just want to share it a little bit with you guys and just, put my heart on the table, essentially. That I'm probably just going to go up to, obviously it's a little bit, well, it's the ESV, so English Standards. I'll probably go up to, I'm going to go up to 20 at least. Just, it's pretty quick. It's a psalm, so it's very quick. O Lord, you have searched me and know me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from afar. You search out my path and my lying down and are antiquated with all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, behold, O Lord, you know it altogether. You hem me in behind and before, and lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high, I cannot attain it. Where shall I go from your spirit? Or where shall I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in the sill, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, and the light about me be night, even the darkness is not dark to you. The night is bright as the day, for darkness is as light to you. For you have formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret. Intricately woven in the depths of the earth. We're going on to 16, so we're almost there. Your eyes saw my unformed substance. In your book were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when as yet there was none of them. How precious to me are your thoughts, O God. How vast is the sum of them. If I were to count them, they would be more than the sand. I awake and I am still with you. Oh, yeah. That's actually 20. But essentially that verse is focused on the idea, of how much detail God puts into you and how much emphasis he puts on you and how focused he is on you. And to me, that gave me hope that even a failure like me, with all the mistakes that I made growing up, and I know I made a lot, I could still be loved so dearly. That there was somebody out there that saw the goodness in my heart and was not just focused on the mistakes. That they knew every single detail of my life before anything even happened. And to me, I kind of got reminders of that every day from people like my grandma and like my sister, who both passed away. Like, I've already shared my story with a couple, like anybody that knows me, really, if I shared my story with you, you guys already know, like during my time in high school, like I lost 4 people in high school in my family every year. Going into my freshman year, my aunt had passed away. Ileana passed away when I was 11, so this was not before. I'd say I was going through the depression phase in the freshman year, really. I was still going through it, but it wasn't like she didn't pass away like right freshman year. Now, grandma passed away going into my sophomore year on January 1st at midnight, so basically on New Year's on 2015. My brother passed away in August when we were leading up to my junior year. And my sister Lupe had passed away literally the week we got out of school going into my senior year. In those situations, I always kept feeling like, especially with Ileana and grandma, I just kept feeling like a failure. Like, those thoughts that I had in my head of thinking, hey, you're not worthy, you shouldn't be alive. Like, if you were gone, everybody would be so much happier. And to be honest, I didn't hurt myself in any way. Like, I never did. I just had those thoughts and I always kept beating myself up every day, emotionally and not physically, but emotionally I'd always beat myself up. And I just put on a fake smile every day and just go to school. I didn't tell anyone. I'm kind of glad that I had people in my life that were willing to help me out. And because of that, they essentially helped save my life. I'm grateful for that. There's a reason they're my mentors, really. Because they helped. They're not miracle workers, but they presented the information and I found the God they were talking about. I got to know. Now, realistically, my hearts and prayers will go out to the family of Etika, and really goes out to anybody, that's dealing with suicidal tendencies or dealing with important things. That my thoughts and prayers go out to you guys. I hope that you guys find freedom, that you're not condemned to you're not condemned to this lie, really. You're the furthest thing from worthless. You're the furthest thing from unworthy of anything. It's just a dumb lie that we try to sell ourselves on that's just not true. And I hope that some of you walk away encouraged from this. I know that, yes, it's a very, very heartbreaking story to talk about. Like, I'm heartbroken because obviously not only as a fan of Etika, but, somebody that understands, what could have been going through his mind. I know that a lot of people are going to be talking about this story a lot today. I only hope that you guys don't focus on anybody trying to take this in a negative limelight. I feel like that's just only going to cause more problems. Because if we try to discourage people to come out to talk about what's going through their minds, really, we're not going to change. I have personal experience of people telling them me that they had family members when they told them that they had depression and suicidal thoughts, they told them to get over it. That's wrong. Like, I'm not even going to try to say, oh, isn't it? No, that's wrong no matter what you even try to do. You should never tell somebody to get over it. No. You don't just do that. You help them. You love on them and you help them to get through it. You show them that their life is valuable. Because that's every life is valuable no matter what. We were all created for a purpose. And we are all loved equally. I hope that you guys walk away from this episode at least. If you know somebody, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm going to talk to you directly. If you know somebody that's going through depression or dealing with suicidal tendencies, text them right now and talk to them. Be sincere, be open to listen, be humble, and talk. Love on them to the same way that Christ loved you. Even if you don't believe, love on them wholeheartedly. I hope you guys enjoy. I thank you. I know that it's more serious tone. Obviously, it's not an easy topic to talk about. And obviously, I am going to be recording the episode for Wednesday as well, but this will be the special episode for Tuesday. So I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you guys for your time. Love you guys.